We're standing in between two parts of Antoning's Wall in Falkirk. A quiet valley, gully, or if you will, ditch. It certainly doesn't look like a ditch today. It looks truly beautiful. But this site here holds potentially a secret that it's held for nearly 700 years. What secret would that be? Well, that's simple. The Battle of Falkirk, 1298. The Battle of Falkirk. An overlooked battle. Why? Because it was a defeat for Sir William Wallace, and most people like to pretend it never happened. Was that not a battle you lost? Some would say. It was indeed a battle that Scotland lost. But why was it a battle at all? Sir William Wallace, a known guerrilla tactic warrior, fought King Edward I in a pitched battle. It sticks out like a sore thumb. Wallace himself watched the approach of King Edward I from Wollaston, so he must have known the capabilities and size of Edward's army, one of the biggest to come north into Scotland. But more curiously, after all this time and all the technology at our disposal, the battle site is still lost. Here, on the outskirts of Callander Park, is a potential site. Why is it a potential site? Well, it's down to new information from maps. A map in particular that was kept secret for nearly 200 years. Captain Roy's military map of Scotland. In 1746, after the Battle of Culloden, the British government decided that they needed to map Scotland to find out all the places there are in Scotland to hide. And as such, Captain Roy set out and mapped all of Scotland. Basing the information we have on chronicles that match Captain Roy's map, this site is a potential for part, at least, of the battlefield. There's always the possibility that Captain Roy was wrong. However, his map is exceedingly accurate in other areas. So this is a potential battle site for the Battle of Falkirk. It does seem odd that there is never any mention of the Roman wall, and given Wallace's ability to use the landscape to his advantage, it does seem odd that Wallace would not use the Roman wall in some form. Where we are now is on top of that wall. Given both Wallace's past at Stirling Bridge and his ability to use landscape and forests to his advantage, it seems logical that in some form William Wallace must have used the Roman wall. And if that's the case, then we have now narrowed where the battle site could have took place. We know that King Edward approached from Edinburgh using the old Roman road, which is not far from this site. So, could this possibly be where William Wallace stood at the Battle of Falkirk? Curiously, not far from here is an old sweet chestnut tree. Local legend says that Queen Mary of Scots planted the tree itself while she was here at Callander House. The tree itself is quite far from the house and beggars the question, why would she plant a sweet chestnut tree this far away from the house? As Queen of Scots, it is more than likely that if it was known at the time where the battle site was, then she of course would know where it was. So is this sweet chestnut tree that we look at now a marker? All curious questions, and hopefully one day we will know all the answers to them and finally find the battle site of the Battle of Falkirk. Another potential site for the Battle of Falkirk is here at Victoria Park, where the Sir John de Graham Memorial Fountain stands today. The fountain, erected to commemorate the death of Sir William Wallace's closest friend and most loyal knight, Sir John de Graham. The Victorians believed that here was where the battle took place, but recent beliefs say that this site is probably unlikely. Given its location, it's entirely possible that all the potential sites in the Falkirk area for the battle were in actual fact part of the battle, the main engagement taking place more towards the Lauriston side of Falkirk, and these sites dotted going towards Torwood, where Sir William Wallace took sanctuary. They believe that this is the site where Sir John de Graham died, but there is possibilities that they were incorrect. Recent investigations suggest that the people of Falkirk incorrectly believed this to be known as Downs, but Captain Roy's map states that Downs was in actual fact where Bainsford and Langley stand today. Ironically, local legend of that area states that Sir John de Graham died underneath a yew tree that stood in that area until 1861. In 1861, it was chosen to move the tree. They moved it to Dollar Park with great difficulty during one of Scotland's worst winters of the 19th century. Why would they move such a giant tree in such difficult circumstances unless there was a true belief that the tree was important in some manner? The reason it was moved was because it was to make way for the Mungle foundry which would feed into the Cairn works. And this is the Graham yew in question, the same tree that was moved from the Mungle area of Bainsford to here in Dollar Park in 1860-61, during one of the worst winters Scotland had faced in many years. Using technology that had just been invented to move the Knox yew in Edinburgh, they trundled this yew from the Mungle area to here in Dollar Park, blocking the road for a whole day as they did so. Not much is known about that process, and investigations are still ongoing to look at how it was done and what, if anything, was done to the tree as it was moved. Experts have investigated this yew and another yew adjacent, and have indicated that this yew is at least 400 years, but yew trees are notoriously hard to age, and a lot of work is going to have to go in to determine how old this yew tree really is. The legend states that Sir John de Graham either died or was dragged underneath this yew after he had died. And investigations into mapping of the area state categorically that this was in fact the yew tree that was moved. Ordnance Survey maps indicate no yew tree being here prior to 1860-61, and then the following Ordnance Survey map indicates that it now is here, meaning that this is the only yew on site that could be our candidate. Only the yew itself will know whether or not it stood and witnessed the Battle of Falkirk and the death of Sir John de Graham. If only trees could talk.